Bohemian Rhapsody. Now this is the movie about Queen, the band, and arguably the greatest rock band of all time. I am probably going to make a few people really mad with this review. So the movie follows Freddie Mercury's character, played by Rami Malek, as he starts from a very young age, the intro of Queen, all the way through his life till the end, pretty much till the Live Aid concert. That's like the conclusion of this movie. This movie had some really good things, but it also had some really big problems that nobody seems to be pointing out. So I will try and do my best to kind of tell you about the pros and cons of this film. The first thing you need to know about this movie is that if you're a Queen fan, you are going to like this movie. There is a ton of Queen music in it. The actors all do very good jobs of reportraying who the characters were, and the sets look perfect. I mean, you can watch the movie's final scene, the Live Aid concert, and watch the real Live Aid concert, and it's not shot for shot, but it looks the exact same. Exactly. So in that way, this movie, if you're a fan of Queen or know their stuff, this movie will probably hit you and you'll love it. With that being said, I have a few things on here, more than half, that are negative. So the biggest things that stood out as powerful and really good in this movie were the set design is flawless. It is exactly like it was in some of their old movies and photos, not movies, performances, and photos and things like that. It looks immaculate. The costume design, very good. The hair and makeup, awesome. The music, like I said, I mean, they just used Queen's music, but that adds to it and it makes it really cool because you get all of their hits, and it's really awesome. And this movie, for being about such, I don't know, intense content, it is very low-key. It could have almost got a PG rating, honestly. I think it's PG-13, but it could have gotten a PG rating, and so in that sense, it's just a fun watch. You can pretty much take most people to it. There will be some things you need to discuss with kids, obviously, about stuff in this movie, but it's not like hardcore, which is actually one of my bigger issues with the movie. I felt like this movie could have been way more powerful had it gotten an R rating and gotten way more in depth about the content. But I was just looking it up, and apparently that's why Sacha Baron Cohen, who was originally going to play Freddie Mercury, left the project. He wanted to take it and focus more on Freddie Mercury's life and his gay lifestyle and all that. And the band, the members of Queen that are still there, wanted to take it, make it PG and more about the band of Queen. Unfortunately, the movie is about Freddie Mercury. This is not a Queen movie. It comes across as called Bohemian Rhapsody or Queen. It should have been called the Freddie Mercury biopic. Hey buddy, it's all about Freddie Mercury. And that's... he's just gonna ruin every one of my videos. So I feel like the movie struggled about knowing what it truly was, because it was partially about Queen and what they were doing, and more than partially about Freddie Mercury's life. And they didn't focus only on one. They kind of tried to do both, and I don't think it quite works. Let me give you a few examples of things that I thought could have been a lot better and would have made this movie more powerful. So the movie is very drawn out. It starts off with Freddie Mercury getting introduced to the band, which is inaccurate. In real life, he just knew the band members. They were roommates, I think, in college or something like that. And so that's already inaccurate. But they just do this for so long with this build-up to the Live Aid concert. And it really should have been focused on probably the last couple years of their life and not the last however long. Because there were so many moments when it was like, okay, they need a new song. They write a new song, play it, perform it, success. There was like, okay, did anything bad happen to this band at all? Like, nothing. The only thing in the movie that they show negative that happened to the band was when Freddie Mercury broke off to do his solo career. And which is also inaccurate to what really happened. Because there were other members that did solo careers, and it wasn't a big deal. They never stopped touring till Live Aid. And in the movie, they make it seem like that was the big catalyst, but it didn't matter. You were like, well, they're going to come back together. I don't care about what's going on here. So the story just needed rewritten, way more condensed, more important content, and less about let's just play Queen music. I mean, like I said, if you're a Queen fan, you're going to love this movie. But if you're just a film fan that doesn't know about Queen, it's not that good. A great example of a good version of this would be like A Theory of Everything. That covers a huge lifespan of Stephen Hawking, and it's engaging, and you care about what happens each moment. He goes through struggles and ups and downs, and Freddie Mercury goes through some ups and downs, but really it's just him being an idiot. Okay. Anyway, moving on. To kind of go along with that, it would have, without the Queen music, if you just watch it as a movie about Queen, but you remove their music, man, the movie's kind of boring. Like, very boring. People are like, yeah, but you can't remove something so big. It's like, yeah, but imagine, I'm guessing, and I haven't seen this movie, but let's say you went and watched A Star is Born, and the music wasn't nearly as good. It still would have had really good moments in the movie. Between Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga and all the way they interact and the way it's shot, this one didn't have that. Without the Queen music, it's completely flat and you don't care about any of it. Next on my list, the lighting in this movie annoyed me so much. There was no dramatic lighting at all. It was very 70s, and that's the look they were going for, like, oh, this is what it would have looked like back then, so we're going to recreate it. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't make the movie better. Change things like that. Relight it. Make it more dramatic. Use better camera movements. There were some moments in the movie, spoiler alert, the part where Freddie Mercury and his friend Paul, when Freddie's out in the rain and he tells Paul that you need to leave, I'm done with you, that scene was so non-emotional to me that I felt like had they focused only on Freddie in that moment, just stayed on his face for 2 minutes straight. Not shown Paul, because we don't care about Paul. Don't focus on him. Focus on Freddie. That scene would have just been so much more powerful, and there were so many of those moments throughout the movie. Almost every scene had one of those moments where you were like, man, if they would have just done better camera moves, better editing, better shot design, like develop the shot differently, use different lenses, it would have just hit way more powerful, and it just didn't do that. Things like that they missed out on, and I think a lot of it has to do with the direction. So Bryan Singer, who I don't know how he's still working in Hollywood based on all his accusations, he directed this movie up until a point he just left. And like the project had to stop, they had to bring in another guy, a guy who's never directed anything good, and he finished it. And Bryan Singer's never directed good actors. He has one movie that has good acting, The Usual Suspects, 1995. Other than that movie, you can go through his list, none of them have great performances. They have lots of big actors because lots of X-Men movies and things like that, but no performances you're like, oh man, you know how to direct actors. And it's very clear in this movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, that the director didn't know how to direct actors. Because you have Rami Malek and you have everybody else. Everybody else is bland and boring and I don't care about them. And Rami Malek, I'm going to get to him in a minute because I think he's the best and worst part of this movie. So I will skip ahead, but Bryan Singer is one of the biggest issues with this movie because he can't direct actors. And that's a real problem when you're doing a biopic. Okay, now probably to my most controversial thing here. Rami Malek is getting all this praise for being an amazing Freddie Mercury. And I'm not sure anyone could have portrayed Freddie Mercury better than Rami Malek. But he's still not a good actor. Just because you can copy somebody doesn't mean you're a good actor. He still doesn't have the nuances of the great actors where you're watching and going, oh my goodness, I feel what you feel. And the way he interacts with the camera, and there's these little things that he doesn't have. And he does a perfect Freddie Mercury. But I don't care about that if the performance isn't also great. And the performance, I don't mean like, oh yeah, he looks the exact same, it's a great performance. No, he's a good copier. But I don't think he's a great actor. So Sacha Baron Cohen was the original guy that was supposed to be on this movie. He is a good actor. Most people think of him as just a joke. Well, yeah, a lot of his stuff is a joke. But he's also done some really good stuff, and he becomes the character. I don't think Rami Malek became Freddie Mercury. I think he just imitated him. You look at a picture of Sacha Baron Cohen, you're like, oh yeah, I would have totally preferred that. I think Rami Malek, a lot of people are saying he might win the Oscar, should win the Oscar. I personally think he should absolutely not win the Oscar. Because I think all he did was copy. And it's fine. But so many actors can copy. Put good makeup on them, put good teeth, and done. And like learn the mannerisms. But there's something about the acting that Rami Malek was missing. Can't quite put my hand on it. And I could be completely off my rocker. And you guys could be like, you're an idiot. That was a great performance. And I might be wrong. I could very well be wrong. I'm not going to sit here and claim that I'm right. But in my opinion, that's how I feel about it. So I still think Christian Bale should win for Vice for the Oscars. If Rami Malek wins, I'm going to be a little upset. It's also not a performance people are going to remember. They're going to remember if they're a Queen fan, and that's it. You're not going to get 3 or 4 or 5 or 12 or 10 or 100 years from now, not going to look back and go, oh man, that Rami Malek performance, that was good. No, it's just not. I just think there's other performances out there that are better. Anyway, that's my controversial opinion. Let me know what you thought of the movie. I know a lot of you thought Rami Malek should win the Oscar, should not, and let me know what you think down below. Because obviously this is just an opinion. I'm not an expert in this. I think there were just problems with the movie, and people have been hiding the fact that the movie's not good by the fact that it's a Queen movie and you love Queen. And I think that needs to go away. You need to look at it objectively and go, okay, take out Queen. Now what do we have? So, anyway, what are your thoughts? Let me know. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time, peace.